Hello and namaskar. Welcome to NCERT's live interaction. This is Singh. You all are watching us through PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12, or you can also connect with us through our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. Now, as it's 4 PM on your watch, and it's time for our very special session that we call webinar. So today we'll be discussing about the journey of National ICT Awardee. But before beginning our today's session, I have some of the important details for all our viewers. As it's our live interaction, so if you have any questions, you have any doubts, any queries from our National ICT Awardee who will be joining us in this session, then do reach out to us in the comment box of NCERT Official. Besides, we also have our contact number for you that is there on the screens, 8800440559. Apart from that, as it's our special webinar session, so we have our mail IDs. Feel free to write to us at our mail ID, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. So today's session is all about the journey of National ICT Awardee. Now, why we conduct such webinar sessions? Basically to showcase the utility of ICT and also to inspire all our viewers with the journey of such resource persons. Now, it is very important to know that who are National ICT Awardees. Basically, they are resource persons of the nation who have actually contributed in nation building by confronting all the challenges that they have faced in teaching learning process and introducing new interventions in the same. So today we are joined by Mr. Mriginder Singh ji. Namaskar sir.
Namaskar. I'm thankful to NCERT CIET for giving me this wonderful chance to interact with all my country people and to share my ICT journey with them.
Bilkul sir, thank you so much and welcome to NCERT. Sir, besides being a National ICT Awardee, sir is currently serving at Singh School. He has joined in from Kapurthala, Punjab. सर हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि आपकी ये जर्नी वाकई ही हमारे सभी दर्शकों के लिए काफ़ी इंस्पिरेशन लेकर आएगी, तो बेसब्री से हम इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं. आप अपने सेशन का आगाज़ कर सकते हैं.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you please share my screen?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. So today आज मैं डिस्कस करूंगा किस तरीके से मैंने अपनी जर्नी जो थी स्पेशली आईसीटी में किस तरीके से स्टार्ट की, और वो जर्नी को स्टार्ट करने से पहले क्या क्या उसका जो बेस था, किस तरीके से उसका बेस बना और क्या कारण बने कि why there was a reason to use ICT in education. So I'll be discussing everything regarding that.
Okay.
So presently I'm working as a TGT English and Singh School Kapurthala, which is one of the premier institutes in the country. It's among the one of the 33 Singh schools that are presently there in India. So we'll begin my journey. So even during the childhood, I was a very inquisitive person, and my first influence was obviously my parents. Both were teachers, and especially my father, who used to do a lot of DIY things at home, because we were living in a village. और जैसे आप जानते हैं कि पुराने समय में गांव में इतना रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल नहीं थे, तो घर में जो भी रिपेयर होती थी, चाहे इलेक्ट्रिकल या किसी गैजेट की या इवन दीवार की रिपेयर हो या साइकिल की रिपेयर हो, तो हम सब मिलकर खुद ही करते थे. तो वो एक ऐसा बेस था, वो एक ऐसा स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट था जिसके कारण मैं हर चीज को खुद करके देखने की कोशिश करता था, और हर चीज को खोल कर देखना, उसको रिपेयर करना, ये सब जो थे वो मेरे शौक जो थे वो बचपन से थे. एंड इट ऑल स्टार्टेड विद माय पेरेंट्स. आई वाज हाईली इंक्विजिटिव, मेकिंग एंड ब्रेकिंग थिंग्स. कई बार चीज खोल लेते थे, जुड़ती नहीं थी, अक्सर हम जोड़ भी लेते थे. और आई वाज वेरी इंक्विजिटिव. कोई भी गैजेट होता था तो मुझे वो खोल कर देखना होता था, ये क्या चीज है, उसको ये इसकी वर्किंग क्या है. So I used to experiment with various gadgets and various tools. So by the time I was in 10th class, we were making projects for our school, जिसके लिए मैंने एक रूम हीटर बनाया था from scrap. तो ये जो कुछ था, ये सब कुछ जो everything that I did, it formed the base of what I am doing today. I was fond of musical instruments. I can play a few musical instruments, and especially I wanted to learn the science behind the music and what are the different types of scales. You know, we have the diatonic scale, we have the monochromic scale, and why different instruments, they produce different sound. What is the science behind music? So all this I just wanted to learn in my childhood. Unfortunately, we didn't have at that time the kind of ICT expansion that we have today. Otherwise, the learning could have been much better. And I believe that children today are very lucky that they have this information explosion and they can utilize their time wisely to learn new things. Besides that, I was an avid sports person, and I was a debater. I was also a person who would go on stage frequently. I was a good Bhangra dancer. I would participate in many sports competition and win prizes. So all this formed the basis of what I am doing today. So my education entirely is from Kendriya Vidyalaya Adampur, the schooling. It's again in Punjab, in the Air Force Station Adampur. Then I did BSc non-medical because my father wanted me to pursue sciences. He said that sciences are, you must learn sciences. While I was interested in music, मैं music सीखना चाहता था और philosophy and English and इस तरीके के subjects में सीखना चाहता था. But anyhow, वो जो BSc करना है वो मेरे लिए एक बहुत फायदेमंद चीज था because I learned a lot there. I did B.Ed with teaching of English, teaching of mathematics and science from Ramgarhia College of Education, and my MA is from Punjab University, Chandigarh. So this is my basic education and childhood. Now I start with my professional journey. So my first job was a lecturer in English at Guru Nanak National College for Women, Nakoda, around year 2003. And it was an all-women's college, and I was a lecturer of English, and my responsibilities were teaching linguistics to graduate and postgraduate students. It was a brief stint, it didn't last long, and I moved on to one of the, as you can see in the picture, one of the most majestic schools around India, Sainik School, Kapurthala. And I joined it in the year 2004. And I'm working here since then, and it's an exceptional institute. आपने शायद कौन बनेगा करोड़पति में कुछ दिन पहले देखा भी होगा. It was a question that was asked to Saif Ali Khan कि ये जो सैनिक स्कूल कपूरथला है, ये जो जगतजीत पैलेस है जिसमें ये स्कूल हाउस्ड है, ये किस बिल्डिंग पर बेस्ड है? It's based on Palace of Versailles, and we have a huge campus of around 200 acres. Now why I'm sharing all these things, because ये चीजें बहुत important हैं समझना कि ये जो journey है वो किस तरीके से start हुई. It's not like some normal school, common school where students would be crowded into small rooms and there's no playground, or if there's a playground, it's just one common playground. So I mean, we have a 200-acre campus. The boundary wall is almost 8 kilometers. So you can imagine we have 4 football grounds, 6 basketball grounds, number of sports avenues available for students as well as for teachers. That is, if we want to play the games, and it is essential for us to do that. So when I moved to this institute, I just sort of fell in love with this institute. I wanted to be a musician. This institute gave me a chance to be a musician. I wanted to be on stage. This institute gave me a chance to be on stage, to prepare boys for dramatics, to prepare boys for debates and declamations, for poetic competitions, to prepare boys for sports competitions. And that was the starting of the journey. So a bit about Sainik schools. So the scheme to establish Sainik school was introduced in 1961 with the primary aim of preparing boys academically, physically and mentally for entry into National Defence Academy, Khadakwasla. So that is our primary aim, to prepare students for entry into NDA. So unlike other schools where students, they do not have an aim, or even if they have aims, they have different aims. The primary aim of our students is to join NDA and join the defense forces as officers. So that was the basic aim of this school, and we specialize in that. We have over 800 officers in the armed forces today. And recently in news, Lieutenant General Ranveer Singh, who was the DGMO, the architect of the surgical strikes. He's an ex-student of Sainik School, Kapurthala. In the civil field, people like Dr. Devendra Sharma, जिनको आपने अक्सर न्यूज चैनल पर एग्रीकल्चर पर डिबेट करते हुए सुना होगा, तो देवेंद्र शर्मा जी, ही इज अगेन अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ सैनिक स्कूल कपूरथला, जो आज माननीय गवर्नर हैं उत्तराखंड के, लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल गुरमीत सिंह जी, वो भी हमारे सैनिक स्कूल के ही प्रोडक्ट है. सो वी आर अमंग द गैलेक्सी ऑफ सच स्टालवर्ट्स, सच ग्रेट पर्सनालिटीज. और ये हमारे लिए एक इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, स्पेशली फॉर टीचर्स, टू राइज टू दैट लेवल, कि हम भी कुछ ऐसा कर सके कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स भी इस लेवल तक राइज करें. सो दैट वाज द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ माय जर्नी, एंड इट वाज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव जर्नी, बिकॉज यहाँ पर जो आकर हमने देखा, हमने सीखा, इट्स अनलाइक एनी अदर स्कूल. लाइक इन द नॉर्मल स्कूल्स, इट्स अ टिपिकल डे, 8 to 2, yeah, maybe 9 to 5. In Sainik schools, Kapurthala, it's a 24/7 job. I mean, we cannot leave the campus. We cannot, just go home and sleep and relax and have tuitions in the evening, or, watch TV and relax like other people. It's a 24/7 job. And we have multiple roles. We are their parents because children are away from their parents and they are in the hostel. And we are their parents, we are their mentors, we are their counselors, we are their guides, we are their role models. So we have to rise to that particular level so that we can inspire in them that jazba and josh to be ready to sacrifice themselves for the country. तो ये जो एक चीज़ है, ये स्पेशलिटी है सैनिक स्कूल की. 33 सैनिक स्कूल्स हैं. इनिशियली सिर्फ लड़के ही थे सैनिक स्कूल में, बट अब जिस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये स्कीम नहीं स्टार्ट की है, जहां पर अब लड़कियां भी सैनिक स्कूल में पढ़ सकती हैं, लड़कियां भी एनडीए में जा सकती हैं, और 100 नए सैनिक स्कूल्स जो हैं वो खुल रहे हैं, क्योंकि कंट्री में अभी जस्ट 33 सैनिक स्कूल हैं, 33 सैनिक स्कूल्स. सो 100 more सैनिक स्कूल्स आर टू कम अप, एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ ब्रिलियंट लर्निंग ग्राउंड फॉर anybody who would like to learn something in their life. So this year also we have girls to our school. So you can imagine the kind of responsibility we have. We are there 24/7. So unlike a normal school, जहाँ पर बच्चे जो हैं वो घर चले जाते हैं, बच्चे नहीं रहना हमारे पास है. सुबह हमने उठाना है, उनके साथ सैर करनी है, रनिंग करनी है, पीटी है. Then we have to we do the breakfast together. We study together. In the afternoon we have lunch together, games together. And we have supervised preps, and at night the house masters, they go to the houses and interact with the students. We have the counseling sessions then. We have one-to-one interaction with students then. So it's a 24-hour job. And जो हमारी interaction है students के साथ, हमारा जो relation है बच्चों के साथ, it's a very strong bond. And just 2 days back, the governor of Uttarakhand was here, and he met his teacher, and Mr. Ahluwalia, Mr. S.S. Ahluwalia, and he was just nostalgic. And the kind of humility these great people have, it's absolutely amazing. So ये जो एक relation है, जो बनता है, जो special bond है between teacher and students, that's so special about Sainik schools. So when I came to Sainik school, my first responsibilities were to teach multiple subjects. Now, like I told you, I'm BSc mathematics, that basically non-medical. So I was teaching mathematics and science because they said you are BSc, so go ahead and teach science. Basic appointment was English teacher because I had done linguistics and applied linguistics and teachings and teaching of English in post-graduation. And since I was an English teacher, I was also teaching social science. So it was quite a challenge for me, because at one point of time I was teaching mathematics and social science to the same class. And these kind of responsibilities, major things, they led me to, there was a lot of work. So in order to reduce the quantum of work, because I was taking lecture again and again, same thing teaching in other classes, that's how I somehow diverged towards the ICT, the use of ICT, to make my teaching better, to make my teaching interesting. So this is how the journey started. There were other very important responsibilities that not just one particular teacher, it's for everyone. We have around 26 teachers, and every teacher is a multi-talented person. We prepare students for sports competitions. I don't know, numerous times we have won trophies. Preparing the students for musical and cultural events. Again, that's one of my passions, music, one of my passion. I couldn't study music, I couldn't go in the field of music, but I was very lucky that I joined Sainik School Kapurthala, because in other schools you have regular music teachers. So we didn't have any regular music teacher. So I doubled up as an English teacher, as a maths teacher, as a science teacher, and then as a music teacher as well. So it was a lovely experience there. And I integrated ICT in all those things that we'll discuss soon.
So, sir, basically you have been a teacher of English, a teacher of mathematics, then music, then sports. Is there
Yes,
anything
ma'am.
else?
Ma'am, we cover that also. Thank you. So, conduct of annual functions, we used to prepare cadets for dramatics, for one-act plays, and we have like inter-Sainik school, inter-zone competitions, where our school have been winning a cultural trophy for many years. We have won it for like in the past 15 years, we have won like 9 or 10 times. I also conduct quiz. I have conducted like approximately 50 quiz competitions till today in the last 17 years. And all this has been possible because of the active use of technology and a great team. One of my friends, Mr. Munish Sharma, he is a great patron and he's a great helper. He helps us out. I mean, it's a great bond among teachers in Sainik School, because we are living in a campus and we are working together for the benefit of the students. So there's a great bond. एक बहुत जबरदस्त बॉन्ड है सभी टीचर्स में, और हर कोई एक दूसरे की हेल्प करता है. And there are few people, special people like Mr. Sharma, who's a great help to me. Then there is one more important thing that we do with ICT. This is running the music club of our school using ICT. So we teach students to record their own music, to sing. You can see on the right side of the screen, upper right side of the screen, students learning to edit music using Audacity, which is a free and open source software. And I had already done 2 sessions with the NCERT as far as Audacity is concerned. Then we have a very great full-fledged band. Unlike other schools, our band has been marching on the Rajpath for continuously like 15 years. So that's a legacy of Sainik School Kapurthala. And we make active use of ICT in learning all those things. So this is what makes things really special. Now, as I was responsible for teaching multiple subjects, so I realized that it was easier for me to use ICT to create presentations, to create short animations which would make learning interesting, to create worksheet for students which they can learn on their own. They can create, they can solve these worksheets whenever they have time. Then I realized that in many of the computers we didn't have a required software. So what I did was, it was a small experiment that I created a standalone EXEs which you could actually run on any computer, on any Windows system. I would just like to give a short example of this. Let me just switch off the audio. So this was basically a word list which was supposed to be helpful for NDA students, because we prepare students for NDA, and I had created many such word lists where students can listen to the pronunciation of words. They can listen to the and repeat the words to get the correct pronunciation. Application. And find out the meaning of that word. And this is how we kept on doing a lot of work. But very soon I realized that that at that time there was not much awareness about the ethicality and legality of using software, because software was available everywhere, and you could download anything from anywhere, pass it on floppies, and most of the software that at that time people were using, it was pirated software. तो उस software को use करने की जो legality है, उसके जो ethical aspects हैं, ये सारे के सारे aspects जो थे, as I continued my journey into ICT, मैंने इन सभी aspects को जाना और इनको integrate किया, and this is how I actually turned towards use of open source, use of FOSS, use of free and open source educational resources, as well as use of free and open source software operating systems for teaching in my classes and motivating the students, and also telling them all the legalities, the ethical aspect of all these. So this is how this was one of the aspects of my journey. So we also set up a digital library using Project Gutenberg CDZ, which these were available, and now it is available for download. And students could go to library and access these classicals, these old plays for their reference. So this was the starting of the ICT journey. So at that time, I would carry a laptop, my own personal laptop, and I would carry one projector in my hand, and I would carry both these things to classes. So that was one time when one of our principals, Brigadier Tyagi, he said, "Why you do that? Why you take projector to every class? Why don't you set up a smart class?" That was the era around 2005-06 when smart classes were very rare. So he was a visionary leader, and he gave me this chance to create the first smart class in the Sainik school. So this is how the proper journey of ICT began. So I was given a few major responsibilities. One of them was to set up first smart class in the audiovisual room of the school, which I successfully did. Then the other thing was setting up a language lab and a computer lab, a junior computer lab in the school. So unlike other schools where you have dedicated computer teachers, we also have the responsibilities in Sainik school. यहाँ पर कोई ऐसा particular डिविजन नहीं है कि ये व्यक्ति यही काम करेगा. कोई जरूरी नहीं है इंग्लिश टीचर भी, साइंस टीचर भी, मैथमेटिक्स टीचर भी could be holding these labs and running them successfully. So despite being a teacher of English, I was running a junior computer lab. Then another aspect that was a modernization of the auditorium with the latest ICT and audiovisual tools. And there was another thing that was preparation of the school website, which was www.sskapurthala.com. It is accessible there, you can see. Although it has gone a lot of transformation and change, at that time we prepared it around way back around year 2010. So what I realized was we are using ICT. I show a video clip, students are watching, and I'm showing a presentation, students watch. I write on the blackboard, students also watch. So there is not much change in a chalk and talk lecture and a lecture integrating a PowerPoint presentation and some video. So this is where I realized around 2009 or 10 that we need to put some more efforts to create an environment where students not only consume the content that is being thrown at them, they also learn to create things on their own. So this was a major change in the journey, because instead of being an ICT expert myself, now I was transferring those skills to my students, not just English, but all those ICT skills to my students to enable them to learn things on their own, which was, I believe, a major step. And it is one of the reasons I believe that why I was given the National ICT Award, about which we will be talking just now. Now, I've been running music club with the active involvement of students. You just see in the pictures, and we used to record. Actually, the challenge with me was one of the other uses of ICT in the music. I came in the field, used ICT in the field of music because there was a challenge. The challenge was we don't have a proper music teacher, and So what I used to do, I would play harmonium in Shabad. The very next item is a song where I have to run backstage and play a keyboard. And in the process, sometimes time would be lost. So I realized that if I record music, if I record the voice of the students, it will be less hectic for me, and the presentation will also be better. So this is how I started initially with the Adobe Audition. But then since I was turning towards FOSS, I started with the use of uh, Audacity, the Audacity's software. And let me just show you a few of the things that we do with Audacity. I hope you can see. Oh, this is one song that we record. I had shared this song with the in the previous presentation also. So it's a particular song, Punjabi song, and you can see all those waveforms that are muted because ये voices हैं boys की जहाँ पर recording जो है वो अच्छी नहीं आ पाई, तो हमने उसको दोबारा से recording किया. So I recorded the music part first. So I realized that, okay, tabla is there, everything is there, but some music is missing. So with the use of the software, because we are able to use ICT tools so efficiently today, I added these few elements later on. It was an afterthought. That's guitar sound and this flute sound. So this is how we do all these things, and we actively involve students in recording, in editing, so that they also learn to create things on their own. So language lab and junior computer lab in the same room, it presented some challenges. So for the first challenge was corrupted software and operating system, then frequent breakdowns of computers, so the class won't be there. Then we have attack of viruses because students would be coming with pen drives, with CDs, with short games that would bring a lot of viruses. So all these kind of things. So it was not possible for us to run the lab in a very effective manner, and there was a possibility of use of pirated software as well. Because students were carrying all those CDs and all that. So that's why I involved student in the active, I would say, establishment of the lab. So what we did, I came up with the solution. I involved students in the upkeep of the lab, keeping computers in good shape, trained them to fix minor hardware issues, so that if there are any hardware issues, under my active supervision, if there's a change of RAM is required, if a change of hard disk is required. I also trained them to install various operating systems. So that was the start of learning, real learning for the students. I also trained them in networking so that my language lab could function properly. Viruses, malware and piracy, it was taken care of with the use of free and open source software. And we also discussed with the students the ethical and legal use of ICT. So that was another turn in the journey, in my ICT journey. Now we shifted our focus from students as consumers, active consumers of information, to students as contributors, students as creators of knowledge. Now that was a major shift, and how we achieved that, I'll just to begin with, I would give them freedom. I would give students the absolute freedom to install whatever operating system they want to use, whether it's Ubuntu or Lubuntu. It has a different desktop environment, Fedora or Debian or Elementary OS. And if you are using operating systems like Ubuntu, there's always a possibility of installing multiple desktops on the same, multiple desktop environments on the same OS. So it was a great thing for students that student says, okay, I want to use Fedora only. Another student is comfortable in elementary OS. Another student is comfortable in Lubuntu. So it gave them the freedom. It was the first step towards use of free and open source. And this freedom was given to them so that they can, take care of their computer on their own, so that they can, progress on the path of knowledge and creating new things. So, since we are stressing upon students as contributors, I gave them few interesting projects, and I'll show you few of the projects also. I would give them a topic which is generally not available on Google. Let's say, I would say, create a short video or a presentation on my pet, or create a short video or a blog or a vlog, maybe a short video or a presentation about their visit to their grandparents' house. So this is something they cannot, if I say prepare a PowerPoint presentation on Shakespeare, so you just type Shakespeare plus PPT on Google and you will get hundreds and thousands of PowerPoint presentations. Students can download, they can change a few things and they can present. So that is the easy way. But when they came up with, when they faced these simple topics, these simple things were actually very difficult to do. Students were not able to do things initially. I mean, a simple thing, a visit to your grandparents, and how much informative and how much learning is involved in that. I'll just share with you a short video of one of my students.
Holes in the polythene in this the muskmelons are protected.
Can you hear the sound?
Yeah.
The sound of the video?
Yeah. It's
okay,
audible.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
My name is Singh, having school number 7664. On 31st December, I went on the trip to my nanny's house. In this village, I saw many types of fruits and vegetables in my nanny's field. They are covered with polythene to protect themselves from cold conditions.
So he's using the wrong personal pronoun themselves. But then this is the beauty of this thing, that they can do things wrongly. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's always wiser later to correct them. So there were few mistakes that this boy made, and these are genuine mistakes. He's a class 6 boy, but what the learning, what he's trying to express, that's really brilliant. We'll continue.
Small pipes give water to all parts.
Okay, small pipes giving water to all plants. So he basically is talking about the drip irrigation system. It's just that he doesn't know it, that it's drip irrigation, but it's something that he has seen. He has found it to be absolutely brilliant. He created a video regarding that and he shared with his classmates. And that's the actual use of ICT in education. I believe that's a brilliant use of ICT in education.
All part of this field. There are so many muskmelon in the polythene, covered with polythene, and small holes in the polythene. In this, the muskmelons are protected. There, a solar system is working on the sunlight came, and a drip system on, where a motor will on, and the purified water, and we also spray in this. There we can a drum, a pipe will go in the drum, and we also spray all this field but through these pipes.
Now, what he is going to say now is very important. So he is giving the crux of things. He is giving a message to all the farmers out there.
And by this process, water will be also saved. So at last, I just only want to say that don't waste water. Those who people are doing farming, they avoid After cutting the crops, they do not fire.
So he says, although he says it wrongly, after cutting crop, do not fire. But what he's trying to say is he is talking about stubble burn.
Yeah.
He is aware about the issues that we are facing today. He's aware of what is happening around him, and he is bringing that awareness in his short creation. So we are, connecting with each other. These are the various strands of ICT in education. If you see the curriculum of ICT in education, these are the learning strands. Creating with ICT, interacting with ICT. There are limitless possibilities in ICT. Reaching out and bridging divides. So I might not have been able to know what's happening in that village, whether there are drip irrigation systems that run on solar power, but it was made possible by this little student. I'll show you one more video, a really interesting one. This one on the topic, my pet dog.
Class 7B, and this is my best buddy Simba. My dog is that Labrador Retriever, and he's 1.5 years old. My younger sister is now safe in food, which is pretty. My dog likes this food because this is healthy. My dog and me has a very good relation with each other. Whenever I am sad, I play with my dog and again become happy. Keeping dogs at home is a big responsibility. They only need time, love. There are many responsibilities while keeping a dog. The dog should be vaccinated and you should have enough time to play with him. After keeping a dog as pet, I have learned many things from it. A dog helps you in making friends. A dog loves you unconditionally. I love you, Simba. I love you.
So here he is expressing his love towards his dog, and the beauty of this thing is that these kind of projects, they cannot simply be downloaded from Google, and these kind of small little projects that I give to students, it forces the students to think, how can that student integrate ICT, use ICT to create knowledge, and that is, I think, is the base of ICT curriculum as we know it. So these are the small interesting projects that I give to students every year, to every class, to turn students from, take them away from that casual consumption of content to creation of their own content. And that thing that I believe is the correct use of ICT. And that's how I was nominated for the National ICT Award. I remember my principal calling me to the office and telling me that he's nominating my name for the ICT Award, and believe me, by then I was totally unaware if there was an ICT Award or not, or whether it existed or not, or what it is. Anyhow, I filled the nomination, filled the application, then there was the internal interview process of the Sainik School Society, under which all the Sainik schools are. Finally, there was a jury meet, and out of the 167, I believe, odd participants, we were 12 lucky people who were actually selected for the National ICT Award. And it was an amazing experience when the result was declared in the month of August. And in the month of September, few days after that, we were meeting the HRD Minister and the Honorable Prime Minister of India. It was an amazing experience interacting with them all. These are all the 12 ICT bodies who got ICT Award along with me. This is me receiving the prize, Honorable President of India. It was an absolutely amazing experience. After this award, life changed for me. Now, one very special thing about this award was that it doesn't generally happen very common, or it doesn't generally happen. I don't know if it has ever happened with any school. Okay. there were a lot of media coverage, which most of the awardees get. Now, the interesting thing was that uh, one of my friends, another teacher from Scenic School Kapurthala. So we were two teachers from the same school getting the award. I was getting the National ICT Award, and my best friend, my friend, philosopher, and guide, my mentor, Mr. Mriginder Singh Bajwa, he was getting the the National Award. And it was an amazing achievement for the school to get two national awards on the same day. I don't think it has been reported anywhere in the country. There were a lot of media coverage, so much so that we actually got tired. We stopped giving it. People who were coming, it was an amazing thing, and suddenly we found ourselves with a greater response. We were not just ICT awardees, now we had other. So after the National ICT Award, there were numerous other possibilities that opened up. So there was a great collaboration with CIET and CRT for the development of ICT curriculum for students as well as teachers. These are one of the few of the workshops that I attended at CIET and other campuses, and made great friends. Mr. S. Dilip, he has already given his session about his journey as a ICT leader. Mr. Vijay Kumar Muthu, Mr. Amit, all these are great friends. They are great people who have done absolutely different things in the field of education, and coming together, collaborating, we learn new things. And this is what the buzzword today is: collaboration. Learning collaboratively, that is the main thing today. Other new possibilities, I attended the National Conference on ICT in Education along with other my ICT awardees, other ICT awardee friends. That was in the year 2015. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are aware that how things suddenly changed. And ICT, which was in many schools and in the lives of many teachers, it was just a distant or just a small speck somewhere. It suddenly gained utmost importance because that was the only way to reach the student. So we also did the same thing. In our school, we started with the online classes, initially with WhatsApp, Zoom, few of the Google tools. Then we shifted to the Microsoft Teams platform, and till now we are using the same platform. There were many other co-curricular and curricular activities that we were doing. There were various competitions like quiz competition that was held online, debates, declamation, poetry recitation competition, art competition, quizzes. So we were doing a lot of things online, and we are still doing today because classes 6 to 8 are not there in the campus. We have classes 9th to 12th which are offline. To give stress on fitness, we had our PTIs who were conducting regular yoga classes online. Then we had NCC activities that were done online. We have online guiding and counseling sessions. We had PTA meets, and I believe all the teachers across the country were doing the same with the you can say varying level of success. But this was something. COVID-19 was something that taught us a lot of things. So it was a great opportunity for people to learn, to develop new skills.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure it turns out productive for our viewers. Just a slight piece of information for all of you. We are still left by 10 minutes in this session. If you have any questions, any queries, do reach out to us in the comment box of NCERT Official. We are joined by the recipient of National ICT Award. We have with us Mr. Mriginder Singh ji. So if you have any questions, any doubts, anything you feel like clarifying, reach out to us in the chat box. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So I was given a chance by NCERT for doing 2 webinars. One was on 9th of June 2020 and another one 16th April 2021. These were the two sessions that I had done on Audacity. These are available on YouTube. Viewers can watch it. Then there was a lot of collaborative learning and mentoring. We were taking sessions for CIET. Then one of my friends, Mr. S. Dilip, he created that free spoken English webinar for all. And it was, I believe, a great initiative by him for those who couldn't speak in English properly. And one of my friends, Mr. Munish and myself, we were part of that great initiative. Unfortunately, due to excessive involvement in the other aspects of ICT, I couldn't continue with this, but it was an amazing effort by Mr. S. Dilip. And it was an amazing learning collaborative platform that he created. One more thing that I learned, we don't just give webinars. One of the webinars that I attended by Professor G. Nagarjun, it was collaborative learning metastudio.org, the cool STEM games. So when I watched his webinar, the first thing I jumped in and I joined cool STEM games, and I started my journey of learning there. And let me just show you. So this is the platform, and so the first experiment that I did, despite being an English teacher, the first experiment that I started there, it was in response to a query whether temperature has any effect on musical instruments. And since I'm a die-hard music fan and a person who plays instrument, who loves to play different instruments, I started with this experiment of effect of thermal expansion on the pitch of steel or bamboo flute and guitar. So there were so many things that I had to create a steel flute on my own, taking this double F flute as a reference. A few of the processes of making that flute, putting it in fridge, cool it. So the idea was simple: heat it, cool it, normal temperature, take 3 readings. So I used a few of the apps to take readings, here I'm playing the guitar, noting the frequency, heating the guitar, and then noting the frequency and the change. It was an amazing platform where I could learn and share. It was like, Facebook of education. I could create things, I can share my experiences with people, and it was a brilliant thing. It was a brilliant thing because the next thing that we did, it was to involve the students in this learning, because students were at home. So I asked my students, invited my students to join such a great platform. Another experiment that one of the students did was extraction of DNA from saliva. It was an amazing, great experiment that was done during the COVID-19 time, where you couldn't go out, using things available at home only. So the student was able to extract DNA, although it was not tested, because that requires a lot of expensive equipment. But this definitely was the genetic material that we were looking for. And collaborating with other students, motivating them to do this kind of things. Then there was another student of mine, Cadet Abhinav Kapoor, who created this sequential LED blinking circuit using Arduino. So we have students who are interested in biology. Then we have students who are interested in electronics and so many other creative things. So he wrote that program, created, and he shared his how he Arduino. Just like the interesting project we give to students to create on their own, there was one interesting thing that it was the hydrogen drumming machine. As you know, hydrogen is a free and open source music creation software. Students can create beats, so they don't need to steal, download pirated loops from the internet. They can create beats on their own. All right. So just give them a little tutorial online, and I threw upon the challenge that create a beat and show it to me. All right. So we had this student Hari Sharan Kalia, who came up with his beat. Then there was Cadet Pritika, Cadet Siddharth, who came up with his own beat. So what's amazing is that before this day, the students are unaware. Many of them are not even musicians. But the use of this software is so simple. It's a free and open source software, hydrogen, drumming machine as we call it, that all the students, even those who are not interested in music, they took interest. One of the kids created this beat. So this was an amazing learning platform. And there were so many students who made this. So the thing is, ICT is not just simply about a teacher using computers, showing presentations, showing YouTube videos, and throwing content at students. It is about students using ICT effectively to enhance their learning, to create knowledge. That is the crux of what I have been doing for so many years. And that is, I believe, is one of the greatest achievements that I have done. This I end my session. And in fact, this one caricature of mine, it is gifted by Mr. S.K. Biswin, who is a great cartoonist, and he is a teacher and a brilliant person. He gifted this caricature of mine as a birthday gift. And so I keep it with me. It's a fond memory. That's another collaboration with one of the fellow ICT awardee. So you can imagine the galaxy of ICT awardees, different awardees doing different things. So that's absolutely brilliant collection of people that is out there. So, questions that you would like to ask?
Thank you so much, sir. That's quite useful information shared by you. We would have loved to continue the session, but we have certain time constraints. As we are left by the last 2 minutes in this session, I would just request you to answer one of our questions, just
Yes,
in a
ma'am.
few sentences. So what is your message to the young teachers who are trying to introduce the concept of ICT in the teaching learning process with their students? Just in few lines.
See, the message I just gave a few minutes back, don't simply throw content at students. They can find content on their own. Rather, motivate the students to create their own content, to create their own knowledge. Give them such projects which the students can integrate ICT in such a way that they learn, they learn so much using ICT on their own that they don't even realize what they are learning. There's so many learnings that are involved. Students, they learn to interact with ICT, they learn to create with ICT, they learn to interact with the hardware, they learn to interact two different elements of ICT. So instead of just simply giving them, spoon feeding them with videos and all that content, lead them towards a path of self-discovery and self-knowledge. The message to all the young teachers out there who are willing to further the education.
Really wise words from your end, Mr. Mriginder Singh ji. Thank you so much. The session was actually very interesting because it had observation, it had creativity, the ability to explore, and above all, providing wings to the imagination of students. Thank you for joining within the session of NCERT.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, we don't have much time, but still, I would like to go with the comments section of NCERT that says that keep up the good work. Well done, sir. Congratulations. Good job, sir. Congratulations. Amazing. Proud of you. Keep up the good work. Well done. So I think this session has turned out quite productive for all our viewers. Thank you so much, Mriginder Singh ji. Thank you to all the viewers who have joined in for the session. You don't have to go anywhere. I am wrapping this session of webinar. But stay connected for Sahyog, followed by Nisha 3.0 FLN. Namaskar.